You're listening to The Collected Podcast, bringing you inspiration and resources to help you discover and live from your truest self. Follow along on social media at Collected Workshops, and be sure to visit thecollectedpodcast.com for show notes and to learn more. The Collected Podcast is sponsored by Clean Juice, a certified organic nutrition and wellness bar with more than 100 locations in development in 16 states. Learn more at cleanjuice.com.
Welcome to episode 24 of the Collected Podcast with Jess Biondo,
Michaela Hooper,
and Tia McNelly.
Today on the show, we are so excited to welcome Rob Johnson, and he is creator of The Forge, which is a workout program here in Charlotte.
Yep.
He does so much, and I don't know the best word to describe it. But he's also had experience in the military and just shared so openly with us in this interview about how his faith impacted all of that.
Yeah.
And how it's led him to what he's doing now.
I love Rob because he's such a kind of like low-key guy. He's a big guy. Like he's definitely, you can tell he's into fitness, but like he's so mild-mannered and gentle. And the way that he can just kind of talk to anyone, and you just like know that Holy Spirit's in there behind everything he says. I just really admire him for that.
He commands your attention.
He does. He does. Real quick, before we jump into the interview, I do want to remind our listeners that registration is open for Collected Camp.
Yes.
Visit collectedworkshops.com/collected-camp to learn more about our incredible camp for middle and high school girls and get them registered if you are in the Charlotte area.
Yeah, and we've been planning all new activities.
Yes.
So if you did come last year, come back and see us because we have a whole new set of things planned.
Yes, definitely. And check out our Instagram story because we have some comments and feedback from our girls from camp last year that will definitely convince you that you need to get your girls to our camp.
Yeah.
But without further ado, here is our interview with Rob Johnson. Rob Johnson, welcome to the Collected Podcast.
Hey, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
We have been so excited for this interview. You are doing so many incredible things, and we are so excited to let our listeners hear about it all and to get to know you a little bit better.
Yeah.
So
thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Good. Hey, I want to know more about Carolina Game Day. Can you tell us how that got started and what it's all about?
Yeah, absolutely. So I started Carolina Game Day last year with a couple of friends of mine, and we just wanted to find a way to be able to give back. And so each of us have done charity events here in town and done different things. And I hold the military close to my heart, just being a veteran myself. And we wanted to find a way of being able to give back. And so last year was our very first year launching a charity event. None of us knew what we were doing. And we just made it happen. And it was just wildly successful for our first year last year.
That's awesome.
We're able to touch a bunch of different people. And the biggest part was just bringing Charlotte together as a community and just connecting more people. And so last year was great. And then May 18th this year, we are doing it again, and we're just having more time to get the word out there this year. I know we're going to be more successful, so I'm excited about us coming up really quick.
That is
amazing.
So great.
Rob, how long were you in the military?
I was in for 8 years in the Marine Corps.
Wow.
That's incredible.
My goodness. Were you already a believer at that time?
Yes, I was actually. I accepted Christ when I was much younger, and being in the military was different world, especially just coming up in a somewhat sheltered environment at a younger age. I went to church when I was younger with my parents. My parents got separated right around when I was 11. And so went through, like parents are separated. Who do you go to church with? Do you go to church? I actually stopped going for a little while there, just didn't have transportation for a bit. And when I was in middle school was the time that I met one of my friends, and I hadn't accepted Christ at the time, but I grew up in church. So I kind of knew what was right, what was wrong, but just had never, got to that point. And he brought me to church and started out on Wednesday night church and just like hanging out with everybody. And then it just evolved from there. And I accepted Christ not long later, a few years later. And that really started my walk with him.
Wow. I can only imagine that your faith was a huge support during your time as a Marine. That has to help in such a just kind of a hardcore environment.
Yeah, it was really interesting. I was a young believer. I mean, I'd known him for a few years. And don't get me wrong, I had radical change in middle school, and it was meeting him for the first time. And I just remember it's kind of hard to explain. Like in the moment, it was on a Sunday morning. I went to Sunday school, and the lady that usually led us was just a kind, sweet lady. And I started on Wednesday night church, started coming to Sunday school, and she kind of always gave me this look all the time. I think she knew that I wasn't a believer. I'm like, is it that apparent? Come on. But she, it was just this one Sunday in particular, I'll never forget. She says, after class, she was like, if there's anybody here that feels as though the Lord is knocking on their door, which plays the term knocking on your door I use often now, but she says if anybody feels like the Lord is knocking on their door, now is a good time. And it was funny. She was looking at everybody, and then she just looked at me, and I'm like, Lord, here we go. And she pulled, I asked her to talk about it to the side, and I remember she led me through the prayer. I told her I was ready, and she led me through. And I just remember this overwhelming emotion just hit me. I was like tearing up and like had chill bumps. Like I knew the Lord was there. And there was just this massive change that just took hold of me. The Lord took hold of me at that time and just set me on the path. And so ever since then, I'd always walked with him. I was the Jesus freak, Tia, in high school, just like you. It was like, I was the guy nobody wanted to hang out with because they're like, hey, do you want to go to this party this weekend? I'm like, hey, do you want to go to church on Sunday? And they're like, no. So I was like, all right then. But it was like, that was my younger life. And so when I got in the military, it was a very different environment because, there aren't many believers. And if they say that they are, it was very, it was not apparent,
Right.
And so I relied on the Lord a lot just to get me through different moments of trial and peer pressure and all kinds of things. And I was very different. I remember somebody told me one time, they said, you can't be a Christian in the military. You joined the wrong gun club. And it was like, oh, wow. All right.
Wow.
And so it was just very difficult to deal with certain aspects because you were very much on the outside. So it was quite an experience for sure.
Yeah.
Gosh.
But I enjoyed my time when I was in. I learned so much about myself and what was most important to me, and that I kind of had to take a stand. I could join in with the guys and do all the things that they were doing and, be one of the guys, or I can continue to walk in faith. And I chose faith because it was the most important thing for me.
Yeah.
And, I'm glad I did.
And you still kind of have that chameleon kind of personality, I feel like, from my experience in interacting with you, where you can kind of fit in with whatever group of people you're with and connect with them on a much deeper level than most, no matter what kind of group you're with.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I've always, I always just appreciate people. I've always wanted to know people. I mean, on a deep level. I don't like surface level conversations. And our conversation that night was just amazing. I was having so much fun just getting to know you guys. I'd heard about you guys before, and so it was nice. I'm like, I get to meet them all. This is going to be great. And then awesome. I'm so glad that I came that night because just getting to meet each one of you and hear your bits and pieces of stories, and it was an awesome evening. So I love people. That's one thing I know about myself is I enjoy getting to know people on a deep level.
Yeah.
Would you say that your time in the military has played a significant role in what you do now with fitness and the other things that you're doing in the community?
Oh, huge.
Yeah.
So a couple of years ago, I started something called The Forge, and it just started out with like, hey, let's go work out at a park. I had helped lead a big boot camp here in town. And I just wanted to kind of do my own thing, do things a little bit differently. take the good from that stuff and just amplify it and make it better. And so I started this. It started with 5 guys at a park down the road in Mint Hill Park, if you know where that is.
Yeah.
And I was freaking out because I was there at 8:00 and everybody showed up at 8:15. So 15 minutes of waiting. I was like, I'm going home, and everybody showed up, and I was like, oh, whew.
Man, that's nerve-wracking.
Yeah, no. And so started the Forge, and it was one of those things. It's a boot camp, but it started for me like I wanted a chance to better people, but also have a time to share and to help lead people to him, because it's such a huge thing for me. And so the things that I learned in the military helped me in the fact that, working as a team and relying on each other, and what does it look like to be there for each other, were all big hallmarks of just being in the military, like working on a team and having each other's back.
Yeah.
And so the boot camp started with a lot of those principles. And for me, the core principle was Christ. So,
That's awesome.
What we talk about and the things that we do when we're there and the things that we just don't do. And it's a beautiful thing. It's really evolved into a big family.
That's
But
awesome.
I've brought a lot of the aspects of the military into it because that's a huge part of me.
Now, do you have ties to the Wounded Warrior Project, or is that just kind of a cause that you admire?
I don't have ties to them, but I did some research before we decided to make them the place that we were contributing to. I just love the aspects of being able to help people in that community. And I know it's a nationwide type thing, but it was one of those things where, the cause of what they were bringing to the table was really cool. So it was like, hey, it was a no-brainer.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So what else are you working on? What else are you into? It's a lot already. So if that's it, that's an acceptable answer.
No pressure.
Yeah.
I mean, go on.
None at all. So Carolina Game Day is my big focus right now.
Yes.
Something I've talked a lot. I know you guys have interviewed Katie recently, and one thing that I've talked about, Katie Dixon, she's the boss.
We love Katie.
I know. But something I've talked a lot about with her is the one thing, and there's a book and all kinds of things that go behind it, but just focusing on one thing and what's most important. So something that I struggle with sometimes is focusing on too much. And anybody that knows me are like, yeah, you do a lot. And I'm like, yeah. And so I'm trying to narrow down the things that I get into because I want to help people so much. I say yes.
Yeah.
And so my word for this year is no.
Dang.
Somebody
great.
told me that, and I was like, I need to adopt no
That's
because I do want to tell people yes. And so,
So how do you decide which opportunities you say no to? So what's your process for that?
That's a good question. And so a lot of times when we look at the things that are in front of us, we have to make a decision. I mean, so many times things pop up, and something that I found true with the Lord is that he'll put things in front of you, or he'll allow things to be there. And the thing with him is more times than not, like when you're still and you just pause and you focus, that the thing that you should do or the thing that is right will be there. And so it's so often that we put things in our own way. You have social media and your friends and work and like all these things pop up of what's most, you feel like all these things are important. And they say, if you have, many priorities, then you have no priorities. Everything's important. So nothing's as important. And so prioritizing a lot of times for me is silence. And so something that I've practiced often and that I talk about often is just silence and just pausing and just being still with him and just listening to what he has to say. And usually when you take a big step back and you look at the broad picture of all the things, there's usually one thing that stands out the most that you have to say that, hey, that's the thing that will give me the biggest bang for the buck. This is the thing that will make the biggest impact on people. This is the thing that I can, this is the tool that I can use to share him the best with these people. And so sometimes, I should say all the time for me is taking a step back and being silent and praying and just listening to what he has to say. Because it's through the whispers is when he speaks to us the most, but a lot of times it's too loud for us to hear him, you know?
We have the incredible blessing of being sponsored by Clean Juice, and we are so grateful for their willingness to take this on with us. And if you have never tried their products, one of my faves is their orange one. It's the juice, and it's so good. It's so good.
Yes, I love, and I've done a couple of cleanses. I don't think the orange one's in there, is it?
I don't think so.
No, I always miss the orange one when I do a cleanse. Like, I feel like I could have some carrot and apple in my life right now.
It's like it'd almost be too tasty for the cleanse. No, dude, it's actually really good.
All of them are tasty. So. Dude, the white one at the end of a cleanse is like a miracle every day. You know what I'm talking about?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's like cashew milk with vanilla and cinnamon.
Oh, that's what you ordered when we were there the other day.
Yes.
And I was having juice envy.
Yes, totally.
It looked so good.
I love white. That is so good. So anyhow, everyone definitely visit at Clean Juice and cleanjuice.com and learn all about how they promote a lifestyle that is healthy in body and strong in spirit.
And download their app to find a location near you. If you're outside of the Charlotte area, they have 100 plus locations across the country.
In development.
So if there's not one near you yet, keep checking the app because I'm sure one will be coming because they're all over the place these days.
Yeah.
And check out Well, Happy, and Kind.
Yes. Check out the lifestyle arm of Clean Juice. Their handle on Instagram is at wellhappykind or wellhappyandkind.com. And I'm actually a contributor over there. Woo-hoo. So, yeah.
So, Rob, in that time of silence, what do you feel like the Lord's speaking to you right now?
That's a great question.
If you're willing to share.
Yeah. So I will say I listened to Jess's podcast with you guys, and I didn't even know what I was doing when I was doing it, but I like what it's called is I believe you said it was like the silent prayer.
Listening prayer. Yeah.
Yeah. Listening prayer. And I was listening. I was like, yeah, that's the thing. And so I didn't realize that I was doing it as much as I was and just listening to what he has to say. And truly in and of itself is exactly the practice of that is the silence. And so the thing that I have to practice and the thing that he's telling me right now is silence. And so I'm practicing, and it's hard for me to do it because I am busy a lot. I'm practicing the thing that helps me bring focus, and that's in silence. And so usually 2 times a week I coach at a studio in town called Block, and it's called Building Lifestyle and Community. It's a great studio. Katie Dixon started it, and it's just this beautiful thing. And one thing that I do after every class is we always do quiet time or just basically reflection time. And so we lay on the floor after the workout, kick your shoes off, turn the lights off, and I'll play some soft music, and I'll just talk about different topics. And the Lord truly just leads me. I never walk into a single one of them with a script or with a thing to talk about outside of just a thought. And a lot of times the Lord will start that conversation or that flow with just a word. And often I talk about silence, and that it's through the clutter and the things that we put in front of ourselves. You know, we all have that void, and a lot of times we know the only thing that fills the void that we're born with is him, but we'll put things in the void and it's bottomless.
Yeah.
But we put all those things in our way, and it muddies up our vision, and we can't see him. And it's when we pause and when we're silent, through the silence is when he's whispering to us, but we have to be willing to be silent to listen. So it's funny you asked that, because that's the very thing that I'm focused on, because it's the thing that I need to work on most. So that's a good question.
Yeah, that is really challenging for me. Silence, because my lips seem to always be moving.
Yeah.
Well, and there's a lot happening around us throughout the day. So getting quiet. I just wrote down silence in the silence, because we can be silent but actually not be silent. Like calming our minds. And, like you said, after each workout, you actually get quiet, you lay down and you prompt the process of people's thoughts and what's happening in their hearts with a question or a word. And that's really powerful. So good on you for, taking that step with the people that have been entrusted to you at Block and, just really challenging that time of silence.
How do you handle distractions in those moments of seeking silence? Because I know, I was even just today, I was studying rest and stillness this morning in my own quiet time, which is not quiet. And that's a challenge for me and it's not the way it used to be, like when I had little children running around. Now I live in a house that backs up to a loading dock. And there is constant truck noise and traffic being on the main road and kind of like city noise. And I find it so distracting because it's so loud. So Rob, what do you do to focus in on silence when you're trying to be quiet and there are distractions?
I laugh because it's so funny. Every time you try to be silent, that's the time that things happen.
Yeah. Right.
But, the funny thing about it is the very aspect of the noise is what you're trying to do, right? Is you're trying to find the silence. And so noise comes in and it's the practice of being silent. And practice of being silent isn't about being silent. It's about working through the distraction, right?
Daggum. That'll preach.
And so sometimes when I'm trying to do it, I just smile instead of getting mad because it just ruins that moment, right? You're just of course, right? I get one time today, the kids are down for a nap and I just want to be quiet. And that's when something happens. But I found for me, just finding humor in the moment. And they say, when you have a distraction or a thought come in, acknowledge it, but then let it pass just as quickly as it comes in. And you'll have plenty of time to think about it afterwards, but this is that time. So recognizing that the practice of silence it is practice, and you will fail and you will be challenged, but it's through the time of finding the way to navigate the water and saying that, there's a saying that, calm seas never created a skilled sailor. I think I just probably butchered it, but
no, but that totally reads. That's good.
That's So it's navigating through those waters, and then you will become skilled at being able to intentionally block out or accept the noise for what it is, and just as quickly as it comes in, being able to find the silence. Because it's through the listening. So there's this study on listening to sounds, active listening to people, and that how many channels of noise can you block out? You're listening to somebody, but are you listening to reply, or are you listening to comprehend?
Wow.
And then of course somebody else is talking, or there's another noise. And even through if you're at a concert and you're listening to somebody and they're talking to you, you're able to block out all the noise and just focus. And in that moment, you're actually being silent. You're listening amongst the noise.
Yeah.
So that's through sometimes that practice. It is a practice. It's not easy. That's why I'm practicing it right now. But it's a challenge. But you'll be more skilled, obviously, the more you put yourself in the environment or at least accepting the environment that there's noise.
Accepting is good.
Exactly. And I think it's so cool to me that what you're doing right now it goes along so much with your word for the year of saying no, or just the word no.
Totally.
You're actually walking out. You're walking it out in your own life, but you're also challenging other people to do it.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
And I guess existing in silence is saying no. To all the other noises and sounds. Yeah.
Didn't even think about that. I'm glad y'all drew that connection.
That's how Michaela rolls. Right there.
I like that, Michaela. We need to be friends.
Hey, Rob, we're friends.
We are now. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Man. Wow.
Yeah, I definitely didn't think about that. And no is a hard thing for me to say. I mean, another thing you can ask everybody that knows me is I always want to help. So it's hard for me to say no. And so, weeding my way through navigating those waters of finding what's most important is a challenge. And I remember the first time I heard a friend of mine, Sarah, she said, my word last year was no. And I'm like, man, that needs to be my word this year. And I kind of laughed at it. I'm like, that's pretty abrupt.
Yeah.
But I mean, time is the one thing at the end of life we always want to get back. And it's like, if you wasted all your time, you're like, people would pay a fortune to get an hour, because what does it matter an hour after that? So
for sure.
I was like, no is a powerful word.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, Rob, we are kind of coming to the end of our time. So I just didn't know if you had any practical tips for our listeners about how you kind of tend to your heart, mind, spirit, and body, sort of some soul care practical tips.
Yeah, that's great. One of the important things for me is something I learned a while back, and it starts with 5-5-20. Have you guys ever heard of that before?
No, what's that?
No.
Oh yeah. So 5-5-20 is something I learned a few years ago. And it's very practical. It's very simple. And that's the time for me. Like, I found creative ways for me to keep my mind fresh and sharp. And so the 5-5-20 is 5 gratitudes. It's 5 goals and then 20 of something. And so the 5 gratitudes is literally how I start my day, saying 5 things, either out loud, writing them down. Written is real. So if you write them down, you'll believe them. It's there in front of you.
That's good.
So starting your day with gratitude. It's as easy as saying, I woke up today, I'm grateful. And then 5 goals. So the practice talks about how can you win your day? Like, what's the thing you can do today that wins your day? It could be, I will give one person a compliment, or I will buy, if I'm going to Starbucks, I'm going to buy the person's coffee behind me, or whatever, just something that you can do to win the day and say, if I do this today, I won.
That's good.
And then the 20 is 20 of something. So that's they say do something physical, like 20 push-ups, or I'm going to walk for 20 minutes, or just something to get your blood flowing, something for yourself to better yourself. But this was the piece for me that I was like, the 20 minutes or 20, just 20 minutes, my drive-in is like usually 35, so mine's longer, but that was the time that I can spend time with him.
Yeah.
And that's the time where I'll either turn the radio off and drive for 30 minutes into the shop and spend time with the Lord, or listen to a podcast, or to listen to a sermon, or something that I can feed my soul. And so silence is something that's important to me right now, but that's also my time that I can spend with him, which is so important to me, because a lot of times I spend time giving that I'm not spending time with him, who actually feeds the giving.
Yeah.
And so my drive in the morning is my 20 of something that I can spend time with him. So I try to devote the time. So practical thing is just being consistent. And even starting with something like that, I remember I first heard it and I was like, that's kind of goofy. And I started doing it, and I've been doing that every day for the past 3 years. And it's been awesome. So impactful for me. So that's a good start if you don't know where to start.
So practical. Thank you for that. I am going to start that tomorrow. I love that.
5-5-20.
Yeah, good stuff.
I like it.
So good.
Man, Rob, thank you so much for taking time to talk to us today.
Thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it. I love listening to you guys talk to all these different people. It's been a really cool journey just to hear what you guys are doing in the community and just in people's lives. So I was super excited about today. So thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, our pleasure. And Rob, we're going to be praying up Carolina game day, and we'll be sure to post links to all of your social handles and all the ways to get connected with you in our show notes.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you take care, Rob.
All right, you too.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Guys, when he was talking about saying no, and that practice of knowing what to say no to, combined with this concept, Michaela, you putting the no and the silence together blew my mind a little bit. That was amazing. I personally needed that. Like, the practice of saying no to what's coming at you is kind of huge. I just recently had an opportunity to choose between what was good and what was God in my life. I was just like super honored to be asked to step into a leadership position with someone's ministry that is really, really incredible and is, like discipling people in an incredible way. But it's a good thing, but it's not my thing that God has told me to do.
Yeah.
It's not God's thing for me today.
Yeah.
And so filtering out our yeses and nos through the lens of like where Holy Spirit is leading you personally is a practice, just like silence, like Rob was talking about.
Yeah.
Well, and I was very honored when he referenced my interview, but also really convicted because, again, like since I did that interview, that's a practice that it's like, oh yeah, I need to be doing that. Like, I've done it a few times, but it's so beneficial whenever I do and just spend time in silence with the Lord with no expectations of myself. And I'm just there and present. And, when he reminded me of my own words, it was like, oh yeah, I need to do that.
Welcome to parenting.
Tonight. Yeah.
I'll just tell you that happens a lot to me with my kids.
Yeah.
Yes.
But isn't that cool how God brings things back around, things that he's revealed to us, and we share, we put it forward. I just believe God will do the same with Rob's interview, just bringing back things that God's revealed to him, and he'll be reminded again and again, and be encouraged by, listening back and hearing himself say things that God's speaking.
Yeah.
He'll be encouraged. So I think that's powerful. I love how much he shared.
Yes.
And that's why I love the practice of journaling, because I am so quick to forget the things God has done or the things he's taught me. But then I go back and I read what I've written, and he just blows my mind all over again.
Yes.
Like, oh yeah, that's where we've been. You got me through that. You'll get me through this.
Absolutely. Oh man, what an awesome, awesome episode. Thanks everyone for tuning in to the Collected podcast, and we'll meet you back here next week.
Yeah. And if you're in the Charlotte area, check out The Forge and get some of Rob's inspiration.
And Block
in your own life.
All right, guys, have a great week.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Collected Podcast. Be sure to subscribe, rate, and review. And if you like what you've heard, we'd love it if you would help spread the word. Check back here for weekly episodes dropping every Thursday. You can follow Collected on social media at Collected Workshops. Find the Collected Podcast on Patreon at patreon.com/The Collected Podcast. That's PATREON. Become a patron for as little as $1 a month to gain access to bonus content, early bird ticket sales, exclusive contests, and more. You can also find Tia at Tia McNelly Notes, Jess at Spreza Foundry, and Michaela at The Creative Space NC. Collected proudly supports and partners with Flourish Kenya, a nonprofit working to prevent and support unplanned adolescent pregnancy in rural Kenya. Learn more at flourishkenya.org. Support for the Collected Podcast is provided by Clean Juice. Learn more at cleanjuice.com, and be sure to check out their lifestyle arm at wellhappyandkind.com. Podcast recorded by Jacob Early. Music by Asaph Alon.